The Pokemon anime has definitely had its fair share of battles, for better or for worse. I mean, when the anime itself has over 20 years, what could one expect? There were definitely a few seasons that spawned some very questionable battles, if I do say so myself. In fact, I'm sure the vast majority of you watching are going to be expecting a lot of Ash Ketchum on here. Well, you're not wrong. Today, I'd like to point out what I consider to be the top 10 worst battles in the Pokemon anime. Now, this is a worst battles list. Most of these are literally the worst of the worst, just due to how Ash performed and whatever direction the battle took. This isn't just me taking a battle and saying I hate it. These are bad battles which I feel the majority of people will agree with me on. But this is a list, so my placements may leave some disagreeing, and that's fine. I wouldn't have it any other way. The circumstances and how these battles came to be will also be considered when ranking these. This list will also not be bombarded with a bunch of battles from the Indigo anime, because it was the very first season of Pokemon, and they were still getting their footing. With that, I feel I did a pretty good job mixing it up. Before we begin though, there is one battle that I want to cover that doesn't even compare to the other 9 on the list. It happened recently. If you saw the thumbnail, then you know exactly what battle I am talking about. Up at number 10, we have Leon versus Alot. Now, I'm not here to give you a speech about Leon. I did that a bit ago. I understand that Leon is the champion of the world and the strongest trainer, and of course the gap of power between him and Alot. They wanted to demonstrate how powerful Leon is, and even after a valiant battle between both Charizard and a Mega Evolution, mind you, Leon's Charizard, without even Gigantamaxing, slaps Alon's Charizard like Frieza toying with Krillin. I'm not upset that Alon lost, because we all know it was going to happen. I'm upset at the fact that we didn't get to see more build-up with him. I'm aware that they had an entire side special with him, but I'm more upset about the battle that could have happened. I'm not upset at the battle itself, I just wanted to see more from Alon, that's all. I couldn't put this battle any lower than number 10, because the rest of this list has battles that are leagues worse than this one. This is only number 10 because I wanted to vent. 2, it's the thumbnail and views are nice. 3, come on. Who didn't want an Ash versus Alon rematch? I think we all did, right? So if you came here thinking I was gonna put it in like the top 3, well, guess wrong. Thunder Armor, Tate and Liza is starting off the second entry, and the start of some very interesting battles. We have one of the biggest anime memes ever, Thunder Armor. Ash decides to have Pikachu use thunder in the sky towards the clouds. The cloud opens back up and fires the thunder back. Pikachu and Swallow charge the thunder into their bodies, causing them to glow gold. They then proceed to absolutely whoop Tate and Liza, even after Liza orders Lunatone to use a light screen to block the physical attack incoming. This is one of the biggest Pokemon memes, but I don't dislike it. Because as a kid, that scene was pretty awesome to watch, I'm not gonna lie. This is more so me just poking fun at it a little bit. That's also why it's only number 9. Up next is a battle I think most people can agree on. Ash versus Richie. Ash and Richie meet in the Indigo Plateau and establish a pretty awesome friendship and rivalry. After a few episodes of bonding and Team Rocket stealing their Pokemon, they find out they are going to be facing each other in the competition. We as fans are thinking, alright, this is going to be a pretty intense match. And I mean, as it should be. It's Ash's first real competition, and Richie is a dope-ass character. During the episode of when they are supposed to battle, Ash is late to what him and Richie consider the most important battle they've ever had. Eventually, Ash does make it to the battle, but only after being drastically slowed down by Team Rocket. Honestly, Team Rocket up that entire battle. Pidgeotto and Pikachu were both pooped out, Squirtle losing is fine, and Charizard disobeying doesn't even make me upset. I actually think that's 100% fine, because it's fact. Charizard didn't obey Ash, and he needed a wake-up call. If Charizard would have magically obeyed Ash, I would have called cheese. I'm not upset Ash lost. I'm upset that the entire episode was hyped up before, and half of it was Ash being chased and delayed by Team Rocket. Team Rocket impacted that battle, making it the 8th worst battle in the anime's history. Also, where's Richie? He's needed. At number 7, we got Ash versus Elesa. Here we have a case where Ash has had supposedly years of experience. This battle is by no stretch of the means the worst battle the anime has to offer, but it's just kind of like, what? The Unova anime did some questionable things. Ash gets cocky, thinking he has the advantage, so he decides to only bring his Palpitoad against her entire team of 3. This ends badly, and Pikachu wakes him the hell up, and then proceeds to help him win the match. I'm not against Ash learning lessons, but we're pretty far into the anime at this point. Why does Ash need to make mistakes like that? I get they wanted to do a clean slate for him in Unova, but I feel there are points where it can get a bit excessive. This one takes me back. Who remembers Ash's first gym battle against Brock? Ash goes up against Brock for the first time, and Onix proceeds to strangle it. After his defeat, Ash meets Brock's father Flint at an old electric plant, and they proceed to power it up using excessive amounts of electricity. After juicing Pikachu up, Ash makes his way back for his rematch. He barbecues Geodude to a crisp, and this shocks Brock quite a bit. Somehow, the electricity is so strong, type advantages are thrown out the window. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with this. I thought this was a really interesting strat that the anime went with. Heck, Ash even proceeds to damage Onix with this until it strangles it again. Ash is put under the pressure of having Onix squeeze Pikachu, but then, I can see clearly now, the rain has gone. The sprinkler system goes off. The Nachos Belgrande is looking really great right now. Even Ash agrees, as he doesn't want to accept the win, which I love him doing that. The OG anime loves cheese though. And trust me, the chili cheese fries get really good once we start heading higher into the list. Hope I'm making you guys hungry. Starting the second half of the list is one that I actually forgot about until like 5 minutes ago. That's the Ash vs Team Rocket battle for his Earth badge. This was right around the time when Pokemon the First movie was really hyped up, and we see Giovanni absolutely wipe the floor with him using Mewtwo. So we obviously couldn't have Ash battling Giovanni because Ash would have gotten smacked pretty freaking hard. I mean, no shit, have you seen how busted Mewtwo is? What happens is that Ash battles Team Rocket, the same ones he sends blasting off every episode, just using stronger Pokemon given to them by Giovanni. Neil Kelly made a top 10 worst battles list, and I had to include this battle on mine after watching his. A good Giovanni battle without Mewtwo could have been executed in some way. The writers could have wrote in a way for Ash to battle Giovanni one way or another. The timing of it would have just had to have been changed a little. This could have happened right after Mewtwo left. It would have been kinda cool to see something like how Pokemon Origins went down. It wouldn't have been as hype, but still, a serious heated battle between the head of Team Rocket and the protagonist could have been interesting. If Ash lost, they could have gone the alternate route and showed one of the alternate gyms Kanto has. Trainers did show different badges after all. Honestly, Ash losing wouldn't have been a terrible thing. It demonstrates the power difference. I still feel Giovanni is a pretty experienced trainer and could beat Ash at that time in my opinion, but that might just be me. This next battle is one I'm sure we all know and love. Ash's first battle with Tripp. I could easily put this in the top 2, but I feel most people would think to do that. However, it's still BS. Ash just gets to Unova, and due to plot, Pikachu is unable to use electric attacks. Ash meets a brand new trainer named Tripp, who decided to choose Snivy as his starter. Good choice. Ash and Tripp decide the battle, and due to Pikachu's inability to use electric attacks, this doesn't go as planned, and Pikachu loses. I don't care that Pikachu couldn't use electric attacks at the time. This is a rookie trainer with a fresh starter Pokemon that doesn't even compare to the experience Ash has gained at this point. We're going from top 4 Sinnoh placements and Pikachu taking down a Latios to this. It's pretty frustrating. In the top 3, surprisingly isn't a battle from Unova or from the original anime, but I think this one we can agree with. Ash versus Watson is quite the handout of a battle, to say the least. Pikachu is affected by some sort of electric ailment, and it's overcharged with electricity. That's the best way for me to explain it. I believe this is how it goes. Watson starts off declaring what Pokemon he is going to use for the battle, coming off pretty cocky. Pikachu, with overcharged electricity, literally decimates this man in a 3-sweep victory, handing Ash his 3rd Hoenn badge as probably the dumbest win in the anime's history. In Neil Kelly's top 10 worst battle list, they actually brought up a good point. Had this been the first gym battle in Hoenn, I feel it would have been a little more accepting, but as the 3rd gym battle, nah. Who said this video was gonna all be about losses? At number 2, we have a battle that is probably one of the most talked about, Ash versus Cress. After the battle with Tripp, the writers decided to reset Ash in a sense. He challenged all 3 of the Striaton gym leaders when he only had the challenge 1. The entire gym challenge was kind of all over the place, but the battle that irks me is definitely with him and Cress. It's like Ash is just being clowned and Pikachu isn't battling like it usually does. It's like Ash's tactical side of his brain malfunctioned. Pikachu was just being tossed like a ragdoll. And like I mentioned with the Tripp entry, we go from Sinnoh top 4 finalist to this. I understand in a sense you want to reset him because Unova was meant to be a fresh start, but this is the 5th region Ash is in. I don't like how the Unova anime goes sometimes. Alright Mystic, what could possibly be at number 1? Come on, think a little harder. This one I feel we all have to agree on. You can disagree with me on every other entry on this list, I don't care. But you have to agree with me on this one. Aim for the horn. The Charizard versus Magnemar battle was fine, but aim for the horn? Come on now. This is easily number 1. I guess it seemed like a viable strat at the time, but I don't know. To me, this battle's stupid. Well, those were, in my opinion, the top 10 worst battles the Pokemon anime has to offer. Most of these battles were served with some major cheese. And I mean, as much as it tastes good, too much cheese isn't good for you. I feel this list is pretty well rounded, and even though I do talk about the Leon and Alon match, that battle doesn't compare to the other 9 after on this list. Of course though, this list is my opinion, so you definitely have to let me know what you think are the worst battles in the comments below. I'll be waiting, and if you disagree with me on number 1, I will aim for the horn.